You wake up this morning, and somewhere in your routine, without giving it much thought, you deal with your hair. Maybe you brush it, maybe you cut it, maybe you style it. You have tools designed specifically for this purpose. Tools so refined they seem obvious. But go back far enough in human history, to a time before metal, before woven cloth, before agriculture, and ask the same question: what did people do with their hair? The real answer is stranger, more ingenious, and more revealing about early human life than you might expect. Here's the first thing to understand. Hair didn't stop growing 40,000 years ago. The same biology that produces your hair today was producing hair on the heads and bodies of early modern humans with exactly the same relentlessness. Unmanaged human hair grows roughly 6 inches per year. Over a few years without any intervention, it becomes genuinely difficult to manage, catches debris, harbors parasites, and obstructs vision. Managing hair wasn't a vanity project for prehistoric people. It was a practical necessity, and they solved it with what they had. The oldest solution, and almost certainly the first, was fire. Singeing hair with a controlled flame is one of the simplest ways to shorten it, and it requires no tool at all beyond access to fire, which early humans had controlled for at least 400,000 years, and possibly far longer. Passing the ends of hair through or near a flame burns it back quickly and seals the singed end. It's not precise, and it produces a distinctive smell, but it works. Anthropologists studying modern communities that live without metal tools have documented this technique being used for body hair in particular. And there's no reason to think it wasn't used on head hair by our prehistoric ancestors. The more sophisticated prehistoric solution was sharp stone. Flint, obsidian, and other capable stones, when struck correctly, produce edges that are, in some measurable ways, sharper than modern steel blades. A properly knapped obsidian edge can be refined to a thickness of just a few molecules, which is why obsidian blades are still used in some specialized surgical procedures today, where extreme sharpness matters. Early humans were extraordinarily skilled at producing these edges. Archaeological evidence shows stone tool production going back at least 2.6 million years, long before anatomically modern humans existed at all. The old Awan tools of early Homo habilis were followed by the more refined Acheulean tradition, and by the time modern humans were painting caves, they were producing microblades, tiny stone flakes with razor-sharp edges, with considerable expertise. Whether prehistoric people used these blades deliberately on their hair is harder to prove archaeologically, because hair doesn't preserve in the fossil record under most conditions. But the inference is strong. A sharp flint flake in skilled hands can cut hair effectively, and we know that early humans were using sharp stone tools for tasks far more demanding than haircuts, including butchering large animals and crafting intricate tools from bone and antler. Using a sharp stone to trim hair would have been well within the technical repertoire of any Paleolithic toolmaker. This is where it gets interesting, because hair management wasn't purely functional for prehistoric humans. Archaeological evidence from multiple sites suggests that personal grooming and body decoration were present in our species remarkably early. Red ochre, a pigment used to color skin and potentially hair, has been found at sites dating back more than 100,000 years. Shell beads used as personal ornaments have been found in North Africa, dating to roughly the same period. The evidence suggests that early modern humans cared about their appearance in ways that went beyond pure function, that how you presented yourself to your group mattered, that identity, status, and belonging were communicated through the body. This means hair management wasn't just about keeping parasites away or keeping hair out of your eyes. It was also social. A group member who was groomed and maintained looked different from one who wasn't, and that difference probably communicated something about their health, their social connections, and their standing within the group. Mutual grooming, which is common among other primates and serves explicit social bonding functions, was almost certainly present in early human groups as well, and managing each other's hair would have been a natural extension of that. Researcher and evolutionary anthropologist Ayanna Schulman, studying grooming behaviors across human and primate populations, has noted that the transition from primate grooming to human grooming technologies represents one of the underappreciated shifts in social behavior, the externalization of grooming onto tools and then onto shared cultural practices like hairstyling. What started as a functional behavior maintained by biology became, in humans, a cultural system capable of enormous variation and meaning. There were also other techniques beyond fire and stone. Abrasion using rough stones or shells could wear hair shorter over time. Twisting and tying hair into knots or braids would have kept it manageable without cutting it at all. Braiding in particular requires no tools, only fingers, and creates a dramatic transformation of hair's functionality, keeping long hair controlled, away from the face, and significantly less hospitable to parasites than loose hair. Archaeological evidence of braiding is difficult to date, but the technique is so simple and so universally present across human cultures that it is almost certainly prehistoric. Animal fat and plant resins were also likely used to dress and manage hair, flattening it, controlling it, protecting it from the elements. We know from ancient burial sites across multiple cultures that people were buried with grooming implements, bone combs, carved tools, and substances that may have been used for hair care. The impulse to manage hair was so persistent and so universal that it followed humans into death, encoded in what they were buried with as something worth carrying forward. Here's the modern mirror. You deal with your hair today using tools and products that are the result of thousands of years of accumulated innovation, from the first sharp flint flake, to copper razors, to steel scissors, to the electric clippers in your bathroom drawer. The technology has changed almost beyond recognition. But the underlying need, the same need that sent a prehistoric human searching for a sharp stone or holding their hair near a fire, has not changed at all. Your hair still grows at the same rate. You still need to manage it. You still, whether you think about it consciously or not, use the way you manage it to communicate something about who you are. The oldest barbershop was a cave, the chair was a flat rock, the mirror was a still pool of water, and the tools were made of stone. But the person sitting in that chair wanted something that you recognize perfectly well. They wanted to look like themselves.